Question 2. Question 11, 20 plus 6 divided by 3. So we have to use BODMAS or BIDMAS, or however you learnt it. Got to do division first before you add. So next line will be 20. 6 divided by 3, that's 2. So 20 plus 2 will give me 22. Question 12. True or false? 138 divided by 16. So it's asking if this is the same as this. So this is, if you have 138 pieces of something, you want to divide it by 16 people. This is saying, this fraction is you've got 16 pieces of something and you want to divide it by 138 people. This is not the same. Yes, that's false. Find the value of W, provide a reason. Okay. So to calculate W, we know that's a straight line. So straight angle. In a straight line, the angles add up to 180. So 180 take away 32. We know that because we'll just write angle sum. So just do 180 take away that, you should get 148 degrees. Question 14, find the value of A. Alright, so angles that meet at a point add up to 360. So it's kind of like a revolution, if you want to see it is that way. A is equal to 360, because that's all those angles added together, minus 100 plus 90 plus 60. So I'm adding all the angles together, all the angles that we know. So it doesn't 100, 90 and 60. So 360 minus, what's 100 plus 90 plus 60, that should give you 250. So your working out doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but you would still have to add up all these three angles and then take 360, subtract it. It should be 110. I forgot to write the reasons. The reason can be angles at a point. After 360 degrees. Question 15. 2 minus 4 over 18. So 2 take away 4, that's negative 2. 18 take away 5, 13. That's it, simplified it. Question 16. Negative 8 times 1 plus 5. So BODMAS once again. Have to do brackets first. So I'm not going to touch this. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. A negative number times a positive number will be negative. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay. What is the complement of winning a rugby match? So if you look in your notes, for probability, complement is the opposite event happening. So complement of winning a rugby match is using a rugby match. 18. In a bag there are 6 yellow, 7 green, 3 red. When choosing at random, what is the probability of choosing red? Okay, no worries. We know there's 3 reds. So it'll be 3 out of something, because there's only 3 red lollies, so we have to add 6 plus 7 plus 3 to find the total. And total is 16 lollies. So we write 3 out of 16 is the probability of choosing red. Question 19. 19's here. What is the highest common factor of 8 and 20? So it's good to list your factors. List my factors of 8. You can use a factor tree if you really want. I'm just going to list it. So 8 we know is 8 and 1. 8 times 1 gives me 8. And 4 and 2. The highest, list my factors of 20. So I've got 20 in 1. I've got 10 times 2. And I've got 4 times 5. So what's the highest common factor that both of these share? They both have 1s, they both have 2s, they both have 4s. This one has 8, but there's no 8 down here. So HCF equals 4. The next side, question 20. Okay, question 20, sorry, got that. 0.5. It's going to be closer. Probably a few ways to do this as well. I'm just going to multiply them and ignore the decimal points for now. So I'm going to make a note here that, yeah, I'll just make a mental note that there's no decimal points, so I'll just multiply them as per normal. 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 3 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Then we start here. So some students I see add a 0 there, because we should start here for the next line. 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0. So now I add these, 5, 1. Okay, I need to look at my question now. My question, how many decimal places does the question have? This one here, this question has 1 decimal place, because there's one number, 1 digit after the decimal point. So I'm going to write 1 decimal place. This decimal also has 1 number after the decimal point, so it has 1 decimal place. That means my answer should have a total of 2 decimal places. So if I want to put a decimal point in here so that there's 2 decimal places, just count backwards. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. There. Question 21. Sarah works from 9 AM until 4. How long does she work for? I like the jump method, so I'm going to give that a go. So the line's a bit butchy. So this is 9 AM. That can be 4:30. So you can jump, okay? We'll do an easy jump. So maybe let's jump just to 12 PM. Midday. So it's around here. 9 AM to 12 PM. That's 3 hours. Plus 3 hours. Then how can 12 get to 4:30? Well, we're going to break it up again to get to 4 PM. 12 plus 4 gives me this. So plus 12 to get to 4 PM is 4 hours. And then we need to get from 4 to 4:30. That's just 30 minutes. Now we add everything together. 3 hours plus 4 hours is 7 hours. 7 hours plus 30 minutes is 7 hours. 7 hours, 30 minutes. Question 22. Jan walks to school. The walk takes 35 minutes. If she needs to be at school by 8:30, what is the latest time she can leave home? So let's do jump method again for this. I'll try and rest the camera. That's better. So she needs to get to school 8:30. So whatever time she starts here needs to be 35 minutes. What is the latest time she can leave home? So we're gonna go backwards now. So we need to go backwards 35 minutes. I'm gonna use the jump method again. We've got 8:30 here, so we can break up 35. So we're gonna go back. If we go back 30 minutes, what time is it? Well, 8:30, take away 30, which should be 8 AM. Which is just this. But the walk takes 35 minutes, so she has to leave. So this is half an hour before 8:30. Now we need to leave an extra 5 minutes before. 5 minutes before 8 o'clock is 7:55. So what is the latest time she can leave home? It's 7:55 AM. Question 23. If x equals 3, find the value of 3x. Okay, so 3x, but we know x is 3, so instead of x, I'm just going to write 3. Yeah, so there's times here, invisible times. 3 times 3 is 9. Question 24. Expand. So what we're going to do, using the distributive law, we're going to distribute the 3 into every term inside the bracket. So 3 times x minus 3 times 2. 3 times x, 3 times 2. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is -6. Solve 2x minus 5. Was it 15 or 5? Two x minus 5 is 13. Okay, so we're going to solve for x. So we need to get rid of everything attached to this x. So the thing I'm going to get rid of first is this -5. So to get rid of -5, minus 5, I have to do the opposite of that, which is adding 5. So when I add 5, this and this cancel because they're opposite. It becomes nothing, it becomes 0. I'm just left with 2x, and I get 13 plus 5. Now 2 times x is 18. To get rid of my multiplication of 2, I need to divide by 2. 2 times and divided by 2, they're opposite operations, they cancel each other out. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, and we can substitute our answer back into the equation to see if it works. So we're going to write 2 times 9, take away 5. Does that give me 13? Well, 2 times 9 is 18, 18 take away 5 is 13. So that's my answer then. My answer. Question 26. I might get another sheet. X over 3 plus 5 equals 7. Same concept as question 25. We need to move everything away from x. So we have a 3. So if you want to think about it, I could say something like, I'm thinking of a number in my head, I divide it by 3 and I add 5. Then my number becomes 7. So I need to undo that. The last thing I did was I added 5 to this number here. So to get rid of plus 5, you have to do the opposite. We're left with just x over 3. 7 take away 5 is 2. Then, to get rid of divided by 3, I need to times. X equals 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, and you can substitute that back into that to check if your answer is correct. So I'm not going to write it down, but I'll just do it mentally. So instead of x, you write 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. Question 27. Find the perimeter of a rectangle. So the rectangle is not drawn for us, so we're just going to draw it. .5 centimeters long and 1.2 centimeters. So perimeter is if we put a human here, he was going to walk this way, that way, so pretty much around the whole shape and return back to his original position. So perimeter would be 3.5 plus 1.2 plus 3.5 plus 1.2. So you can just line that up. I'll just do it like this. I can do this in my head, but I'll just... 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 5 is 12, 12 plus 2 is 14, carry 1, 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. We can carry the decimal point down for this. Gotta write our units as well, 9.4 centimeters. Question 28. Find the area of the shape. Okay, so the area of a parallelogram, the formula is just the same as a rectangle. It's base times height. So our base of our rectangle is 8, and the height is 3. 8 times 3 is 24. Question 29. Find 25% of 400 grams. 25%, or kilograms, sorry, is 25 per century. About 100 years in a century. Percent is the same per 100. Times, of means times 400. 400 over 1. We can write any number over 1. Any number is divisible by 1. So we can write over 1. So I can divide these two numbers by 100. Both of them. What I usually say is I just cross a 0 from the top, 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom. Now, I can't simplify anything else, so I just multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 25 times 4 is 100, 1 times 1 is 1, 100 over 1 is just 100. The units is kilograms. Okay, true or false? 37 out of 12 is bigger than 11 out of 18. It's a bit hard to compare this, because their denominators are different. So what we need to do is we need to change 12 and 18 to common. We need to make them have a common denominator. Okay, so I know 18 and 12 can both become 36. Okay, so if you want it, you can list the times tables out. 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2, 12 times 3 is 36, 12 times 4 is 48. And we can list the 18 times tables as well. 18 times 1 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. And I can stop there, because I can make both of those fractions have a denominator of 36. So to make both of these fractions have a denominator of 36, I'm going to multiply the first fraction, 12, by 3. 12 times 3 is 36. I have to multiply 3 to the numerator as well. 18 multiplied by 2 gives me 36. Times 2 to the numerator as well. So our new fraction is 21 over 36. Is that bigger than 22 over 6? As you can see, now we can compare our fractions fairly. They're both out of 36. 21 is indeed not bigger than 22. So this should be false.